Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth in my series of Saturn through the houses. Saturn in the fourth house of your chart. This means Saturn is fourth from your ascendant or indeed from your moon chart. This is still relevant. If you are using a Western system chart, this is good for you also, as long as you are counting 4 signs away from your ascendant equal house sign for a house system. So, if you are new to my channel, sub below and let's get started. When Saturn is in the 4th house, just like in the 1st, 7th and 10th house, Saturn is extremely strong. Saturn dominates your life's karmas in this cardinal or Kendra house. Saturn also has 3 important aspects in the Vedic system. I'll be talking in detail about the meaning of this on this video. Saturn aspects the 6th house with his 3rd aspect, the 10th house of career and status with his 7th aspect, and the 1st house of self with his 10th aspects. These are very important to understand and they are all on the video. So let's start by understanding the meaning of Saturn in your 4th house. Now, the 4th house of any chart is very important. It's the base of our existence because it actually is just more than our home. Yes, it is your home, the house where you live, your sense of being in tune with who you are, because it should reflect who you are, because the heart is the home, etc. But the 4th house is actually where we go to find safety and security in ourselves, not just in our home. So Saturn here is a very important placement. The 4th house is also the mother influence and part of the early childhood. It also is your early education. And in some ways, sometimes it has an aspect of the very later years of your life, when for most of us that is spent in our homes or in some sort of building situation where we go to for safety as we get older. So it's the very beginning of our life and the very end of our life. Saturn is also, though, about structure in our life. So it has something in common with the 4th house, strangely enough, even although this house is about moon and feelings and emotions. Saturn actually is not so maleficent in this house as people say. Saturn actually works for good in giving you a tremendous sense of discipline and structure in your life. So where is this structure coming from, this strong sense of discipline at the core of your being? For most of you, this will be coming from your mother influence. Saturn in the 4th always indicates a strong relationship with the mother in terms of the fact that she has influenced you very greatly. It may not always be a very warm relationship. There may be a sense of discipline and order there coming from her. She was someone who showed you how to deal in very practical ways with the material world. But she wasn't a very touchy-feely, mothering type of mother for most of you with this Saturn. And you felt that. You felt it as a very early influence, okay? So this is a very disciplined mother who demands a lot of you. And to begin with, that can be quite harsh, but later on in life, very often you look back and you'll be saying to yourself, what would my mother do in this situation? What would my mother say about this? And that becomes your gold standard because their influence on you is so strong. Now, Saturn here influences the early education very strongly. And according to sign, it can be different. But for most of you, the early education had a sort of, not a harshness to it, but you felt a bit alone in those early years of education. You enjoyed school because Saturn enjoys education. Saturn loves education. Saturn loves structure and loves all the discipline of school. You get on well with that. Although for some of you, if it's very, very badly aspected, you could have hated school. But most of you, though, you will enjoy that structure, that discipline, and you like to learn. But there's a sense of being alone. There's a little bit of loneliness around that early education that you carry with you. And this sense of needing space to yourself carries on into your later years. I've seen people with this Saturn who just have to have a little space in their own home where they have a little den, a little space where they can get away from everybody in their home. You need that privacy. You need that time alone to get to grips with who you are. And you like a disciplined home, okay, when you are older. You like everything in order, everything in working order. It's very important to you. Okay, so structure in your life, a big sense of discipline and order, but needing time on your own, needing space on your own is very important to you. Finally, Saturn in this house is going to influence your cultural upbringing too, because Saturn is about your culture of origin in the fourth house. Now, this gives you a very strong draw to that country, to that culture. It's very important. It's coming from past karmas because Saturn is your particular past karma. So even if you escape, as it were, from your early upbringing, where you were born, that country, that part of that country or that culture, something always draws you back. Many people actually end up working in the government of their country. Why? Because of the 10th aspect. Because of this 7th aspect onto your 10th house, which is government itself. So you often work in some sort of government institution. Saturn is also about teaching, so you may end up teaching and going back into that early environment of schooling, which had such a special influence on you. Now, let's look at all the aspects of Saturn in some detail. Now, Saturn's aspect on your 6th house is very important. Saturn destroys the health issues, destroys the conflicts. It's a good aspect to have in a way, but it makes you very health conscious and very aware of health aspects in your life. Saturn aspect to your 1st house, so can give you some health issues, particularly around Saturnine concerns, but we have to look at the signs involved to see more detail there. But Saturn definitely is about bones, so there can be, for some people, issues with your bones and such diseases. But in a way, it's not so much about that. It's about your sense of discipline and dealing with your health. You deal with it well, and you become very concerned to find all alternative and special remedies which can be very good for you. You're very interested in medical issues. You're very interested in health issues, and you may indeed work in a medical field because Saturn aspects your 10th house of career also. But this house is also about your aunts and uncles from your mother's side of the family. So they have a very special karma with you. There may be some limitation from them, or you may absolutely gain help from them, but they are very important in the whole structure of your life. Saturn also influences small animals from this house. So pets may be a very important part of your existence also. Again, you have to look at the signs involved because some signs are not so orientated towards small animals as other signs are. Now, Saturn's aspect to the 10th house is 7th is very important. Your career is such an important aspect of who you are. But Saturn's aspect here is going to make it a bit choppy, a bit difficult, because it's going to take time. Saturn is delay. So you may find that you are delayed in finding that career which is good for you. There may be many stops and starts, or you may end up in a job which doesn't satisfy you for some time in your life, and according to your karmas and your mahadashas, you have to make a complete change in your career. But you like a steady career. You don't like a lot of change. You want things to be steady. You would rather work for some organization where you feel that you've got steadiness and reliability. But some people with this Saturn actually also work from home because Saturn's in your home. Saturn is work and is in your home. So again, you have to see details here from your chart. But on the whole, though, what you will definitely see is some delay, some limitation in finding that career path. But you do very well in any government organization. You can become a teacher because, as I say, Saturn gives you that love of discipline, that absolute love of school in a way as a system rather than maybe your particular experience of school. You like that system, okay? Because what is school about? It's about There's the bell. It's the next lesson. Yeah, it's about a definite timetable. You like to have a timetable in your life in a way. So you like a job which is very structured and gives you that sense of security and safety. Saturn can also make you well known in your career as you rise up that ladder, because Saturn, of course, gives a very late success. So very late in your life, very often you find that special niche in which you can perform very well. And you work late into life because Saturn doesn't want to retire. Saturn isn't into retiring. Saturn likes to keep on working. So you very often work into the very late years of your life. So finally, Saturn's 10th aspect is on your first house or ascendant. This, as I've talked about already, will influence your sense of confidence from a very early age. There could have been a lack of confidence, a lack of security in who you were. But as you grow, my goodness, you grow in confidence. Every year as you mature, you gain a greater sense of who you are, a greater sense of discipline and purpose. So you are a person who gains confidence later in life, but there may be a good deal of time when you didn't have that confidence. The age of 36, of course, when Saturn matures, will be very important to you. At the age of 36, things seem to switch in your mind and in your whole destiny, and you come to a sense of purpose and security. So from that age onwards, things get a lot easier for you. Your health issues, as I say, you have to look at the sign involved here, may be very important to you. All of your life, you're very careful about your health. You have to take care of your health. You need to have a very structured life where you have to get up at a certain time, go to bed at a certain time to make the most of this Saturn. But if you got, say, Venus in your first house or Jupiter in your first house or a certain sign in your first house, it can be hard to get to grips with that. But Saturn wants to give you a purpose in life. So this aspect on your first house makes you a bit of one on your own. The risk is you don't have to be a loner. You don't have to be living alone. It isn't about that. Some of you will have that aspect of needing a lot of time alone, but it makes you a person unto yourself. Saturn is giving you a karma here which you have to fulfill in this lifetime, which is around family, which is around your early home existence. So your karmas are very linked to your culture, to your home. You have a very strong sense of duty there. And so family becomes an absolutely crucial part of who you are, and that's where your karmas are. So this influences your whole personality. It influences your whole sense of self in this world. Finally, first house is how we project ourselves onto the world. So you have to be careful also here that you are very authentic in who you are, because other planets here might make you move away from that authenticity. You see, Saturn is about authenticity. The more you are who you are with other people and don't pretend to be something else. When you are very young, you see, this Saturn can actually make you put on a bit of a show, because being alone or being separate doesn't look very good. But as you get older and you gain confidence in yourself, you can just be around the people who appreciate you as you are, for the special, focused, disciplined person who you are. Because here's a very special joy of this Lord Shani. You give strength to other people. The strength which you have inside yourself here from this first house aspect can give strength to other people here. Okay, so you have to be strong in yourself to give strength to other people. And that's what Saturn gives you, because deep in the core of your being, Saturn is giving you structure and strength. And you will probably find a very strange thing happen. As you get older and older and older, people come to you for safety. People come to you for security. You become that older person that draws people to you because they sense in you a source of strength and security. So everyone, I hope that was an informative video for you. If you are new to my channel, sub below. And of course, more videos coming up soon on Vedic astrology. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.